Okay guys, 15.4 announced last night. Handstand push-ups and power cleans and an ascending ladder for an 8-minute time period. So first thoughts is quite simple in terms of how complex the movement patterns would be. So today's video is actually going to be quite short. It is naturally all about the handstand push-ups. The power cleans shouldn't put too big of a stress on people going RX'd. Especially if you break it down the right way, but definitely the handstand push-ups might catch some people out, so it's definitely on the skill-based side of things. In terms of the energy systems used, we're looking at CP battery. Naturally, breathing and pacing is going to influence what goes on the barbell as well, which we'll talk about at the point of performance. And the big thing will naturally be local muscle fatigue within the upper body, the shoulders, especially the triceps. You might get a little bit in the upper back, but you'll get a lot coming through those arms. So that's probably going to be the biggest limiting factor for a lot of people on this one as they get into the higher reps. Okay, so warm up and metabolic preparation. Naturally, because we're going into that full extension position within the handstand push-ups, we want to think about that overhead position for our mobility. So we're going to look at the thoracic, plenty of thoracic work so we can hit that real open position. We're not going to get caught out with no reps. Naturally, the wrists is the next thing we think about. So spend some time getting those wrists opened up. Maybe spend 5 or 6 minutes, part of your warm-up, something that maybe you may not do already, but we want to start getting in because that can become quite sticky when we start coming into the higher reps and spending X amount of seconds or minutes over the course of the workout upside down in that position. Lower back, obviously the bar, a little bit of weight, 85 kilos, thereabouts. So we want to make sure that the back doesn't blow out at any stage. So make sure that we do get a lot of back stretch, maybe some pancake stretches, and get a lot of new blood and movement through that lower back. And then obviously into the shoulders like we normally would as well. Okay, so already talked about it. Get the heart rate up. Blood flow we've talked about. Heart rate is up. And we don't want it to be spiking at any stage. It's not that style of a workout. So what I would suggest is come down, get your mobility, get yourself just in the zone, or fired up from a central nervous point of view. Airdyne, rower, kettlebell swings to help with that position for the to kind of dial the position in for your power cleans. And naturally hitting the movements as well. So I'd spend some time messing around with some very low reps on the handstand push-ups. Dial in, if you're going to go kipping, get that position dialed in so it feels super smooth when you do start the actual workout. Some people may choose to go strict. We saw Josh Bridges last night set it off strict and then went into the kipping, and then things kind of fell apart in terms of no reps, and he bounced about it then to kind of dial himself back in. Personally, I would actually say go, if you can, to kip from the very beginning. It makes more sense. But yeah, it's not too detailed of a warm-up compared to some of the other ones that we've talked about. So points of performance. Goes out saying, anybody that watched the live announcements last night, make sure your handstand push-up is defined. You know where your lockout is, you're at the right distance. You don't have much room to play with in terms of the marker on the board for the heel height, for your heel height and extension. So just make sure you've got that done before we start. You know it's good, so that we don't come into the area of no reps again, like we saw Josh Bridges. Like we mentioned, kipping or strict. I would suggest going kipping from the beginning, but that's personal choice. If you want to start off strict for the kind of low end stuff and then go into the kipping, that's fine too as well. It's your discretion. I'm sure your coach or your fellow athletes, if you're doing it as a team, will decide within a group what's better there. Break the power cleans down. So again, if you watch Josh and Scott hit it, drop, split second, the bar dropped and he picked it up again. Whereas Josh went touch and go, and I personally think probably the single reps would be the best way to go on the power clean. It just gives you a little bit better breathing as you kind of get through the workout, but B, it allows you to set a rhythm from the very beginning, and the concept is to hold that rhythm as you progress. You're not going to lose much time. It's a couple of seconds maybe over the course of the workout, but you'll make you'll make it back up in terms of breathing and rhythm. Alright, so in terms of your handstand push-ups, work rest would be a concept to use again on this if you know your handstand push-ups. A lot of people are a little bit in the grey area in terms of the capacity for the handstand push-ups. So if that's the case, I'd probably say go by feel. Okay, so if you don't know, you can definitely hit 5 to 6 reps comfortably with an X amount of seconds rest and hit that repeatedly. Go by feel, but you have to be aware of and be very present in terms of your reps. So you don't want to kick back into it too soon and start missing reps because you went too soon. Okay, so you have the option. It just depends on what skill level you are within those handstand push-ups. Okay, and the final piece then, actually we have fun. I actually think compared to last week, this week is actually even more fun, which generally doesn't necessarily always happen within some of the open workouts. So take it, embrace it, enjoy it, and we'll come back here again for 15.5 next week. Cheers guys.